welcome back to the channel. So today could be the day that really changed our lives, and probably not for the best. And I'm pretty sure, guys, you're all aware of what I'm currently talking about. It is literally pretty much all over the news and everybody's talking about it. Of course, we're talking about the digital ID, or a Brit Card. So today could be the day where our lovely government is going to be introducing us to the plans for a digital ID. I can't say, guys, I'm surprised, and I'm pretty sure many of you are not surprised neither, because the whole idea of the digital ID been in the making for a very, very long time. Previous governments, Tony Blair, attempted to do this, but unfortunately fortunately, in fact, that didn't go ahead. But we do know, as a bigger agenda, guys, this has been in the making for a very long time. And unfortunately, as we all foresee this, the digital ID is just not going to be the end of the whole control situation. Nonetheless, I'm sure you're aware, guys, there's loads of articles floating about, all talking about the digital ID. So I've picked up a couple of bits out there to sort of make you aware what's currently happening and where it's leading to, so you don't have to then read through long articles, because there's loads of them about. So first of all, today is the day where the government is going to be announcing the plans. After doing some research, right, there's some information floating about. They actually done a poll on people who thought is a good idea of having a digital ID and who didn't. Strangely enough, okay, 53% of people thought it was a good idea. 19% of people said it was a bad idea. So I'm not really sure what happened to the rest of the people. Maybe they just decided to sit on a fence, but the whole point, apparently 53% thought it was a good idea. I don't know a single person, okay, that thinks that a digital ID and the control that will come with it is a good idea, but apparently poll says that 53% thinks so. So apparently, the digital ID is set to verify the individual's right to live or work in the United Kingdom using a smartphone app. Alternatively, but alongside this, apparently there are talks that they would have to be improvised into a paper version as well, similar to the passport, but as a card. Call me skeptical, but isn't it easier, right? We're talking about here, the specific words they're talking about is to verify the rights for the people to be here and work here, to basically come on immigration. This the whole idea is the government bringing this thing forward, because I think they feel like, if they feel that they're doing something, or if we as a people who live in this country feel that they're doing something about that we're not happy, then we're all going to be going forward. To me, I think it's easier just to close the door. Then you don't have to then put all of the people that live here legitimately and working and doing whatever they're meant to do, to put through the whole idea of surveillance, as I'm going to be calling that. But apparently this is the whole idea. The idea is that it makes it easier for companies to employ the people to check whether the people are legitimately able to work in the UK. Apparently there are a lot of people that have been employing people, apparently not doing correct checks, or not decided not to do the checks, I don't know. But the whole thing is, there was already a system in place that got redundant in 2023. This is where the companies could check rather whether the people are actually able to, whether the company is able to employ the people legitimately, but apparently it was deemed ineffective. Okay, so now they're thinking that introducing a digital card that's been given for free to all of the working people in the United Kingdom are going to solve that problem. Well, okay, let's take, for example, the companies that do employ people, and I'm pretty sure you exactly know what I'm talking about. Things like Uber Eats and some other delivery drivers and some other companies. Forgive me for being skeptical, but I'm pretty sure when they employ these people, they know exactly who are they employing, because it's cheaper. So now thinking that if they're going to be bringing out digital ID to people that are working in the United Kingdom, again, doesn't that kind of leave those people out of that? Please bear with me, do understand what I'm trying to say. Nonetheless, right, going forward with that, even if that was the case, if the company wants to continue to employ those sort of people, then, well, certainly, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to pay people cash. Ooh, that's a thought. What's going to be happening next to the cash? Anyway, guys, right, we're going to be covering this later on. So let's quickly just go through some other points that I've picked up from the articles and from the report. So obviously the concerns have been raised by some groups of people. We're talking about the privacy, surveillance, data security, and potential exclusion. So of course, if you think about it, guys, the privacy, those ID cards just initially meant to be included in your name, your address, pretty much like your passport, and of course your ability, like your national insurance card, whatever it is they're going to be putting on it. But further on, there's a potential talks of including your biometric information, we already know they introduced us with the certain passports. Now, again, from the end of this year, or from the beginning of next year, our entry to specific European countries also require us giving our biometric information before you enter in the country. So just imagine having your information, like your fingerprints, your eye scans, everything in one card. So you can imagine why people are getting skeptical and worried, because that opens up to a humongous amount of potential, like a cyber attacks, the identity theft. It is going to be absolutely horrendous. They're also talking about the cards that have been issued potentially could then be integrated with the government's .uk wallet. Again, we already know, or I'm sure majority of you already know, that the HM Revenue and Customs introduced a new law, if you wish, where they're actually able now to get an access to your bank accounts, including even a savings account and ISAs. So if you overdue on your payment, whether yourself or your company, and basically you owe them money, anything that's over £1,000, they legally have an access to your bank account to be able to take your money out of that. Again, guys, we've covered this on many videos over the past few years, because this whole idea of the whole plan of everything that's integrated, they have access to everything, has been in the making for absolute years. So I appreciate there'll be some people still going to be a little bit skeptical and thinking, well, digital ID, we really don't want this because, you know, if we all protest, then say no, it's not going to happen. It's been in the making for absolute years. They have a huge goal, the whole, like a massive goal and a plan for the whole agenda for 2030 and beyond to have this happening. So of course, and again, the potential exclusion. So the idea is, it's currently a digital ID that is meant to be on your smartphone. And not everybody has a smartphone. Many people just choose not to have a smartphone, and there are just generally some older generations that don't trust the smartphones, and I don't blame them. So the exclusion part obviously have to be addressed. So if they truly want to have everything and everybody controlled, then of course they'll have to introduce another option. And we're talking about, this is where potentially a digital card, a physical card that goes also alongside of your digital card could be implemented. And the other really interesting thing, apparently there was a digital identity system called gov.uk Verify, which was retired in 2023 because it was being inefficient. So again, makes you wonder, but again, I'm pretty sure they do their best of learning from their mistakes, and they're going to make some adjustments to the system to make sure that it kind of fits within and achieves what's needed to be achieved. So coming back as well, and this is going to make me laugh, right? So a few years ago, guys, because obviously we've been talking about this for a very long time, I done a video where I've been telling you to stock up on things like an equipment, for example, for your kitchen, for your, things for your garden, because the whole idea of the control where they potentially could lead. You just imagine, okay, and this obviously has been happening like places like China. We're talking about social credits. This is not quite there yet, but the whole idea what could be potentially headed, because they are talking about making sure that, not really openly talking to us about it, the whole idea that they'll have a total control, total surveillance of what we do. And then just imagine, right, as I said, sorry, I've done a video about suggesting that we should be stocking up on things now, because there'll come time really soon, I'm pretty sure very soon, where you're going to be limited to the amount of things you'll be able to buy, or not in fact maybe necessarily limited to the amount of things you will buy, but what you will be allowed to buy. Again, progressing further into the agenda of us eating shit food from the supermarket, okay, we want to grow our own food. Again, if they don't want us to grow in our own food, okay, or even preserve in our own food, there will be limitations on the things you buy. And it will be like one of my viewers always commented in those videos, illegal purchase detected. So we'll come to the stage where you go to a supermarket or somewhere else, you try to buy something, and there's going to be, oops, a flag up the system saying, well, actually, you're not meant to be buying yourself some space to grow stuff in a garden or seeds because we just don't want you to do this. Or, of course, at the same time, there will be different agendas behind different things as well. Be it talking about fresh fruits and vegetables, or in fact meat. All right, that's a big deal. Meat and dairy. We already know, okay, we've been under target and farmers been under target for meat. We've already been told we need to be eating less meat, we need to eat crickets and bugs and everything else. So if you just join this all together, you can imagine how much of a horrendous control that can have over us. And of course, currently there is a petition. There's over 700,000 people that signed this petition, okay? And obviously it's going up by the minute, But the point is, right, we know how ineffective petitions could be. We already know really a couple of really huge petitions that happen. I'm not going to mention, I'm pretty sure everybody's aware, and there's just nothing been done to it, okay? It just nothing happened, because if their agenda is to create what they need to create, petition or not, is going to go in their favor. And of course, the last bit, guys, talking about the cash, because, you know, cash is king. And we're even being told by the government to make sure that we're going to be stocking up on cash. And I'm thinking, yes, it's really sounds like a very good idea right now. Because although we have been expecting the digital ID and all this come into place, and we know the Agenda 2030 is literally just around the corner, but even myself, right, I just couldn't imagine how quickly the time flew, how quickly we're in this position that probably as of today or tomorrow, things are really going to be happening. So, as I mentioned to you with the previous, when we talked about the companies employing people, so if they want to employ a cheap labor because it's cheaper, and you know, as I said, they all know, I'm pretty sure they all know who they're employing, exactly knowing exactly what they're doing. So the point will be for those companies will be paying people cash. So of course, what now the next thing, once the government then finds out that's what companies potentially will be doing, what is going to be the next thing? Well, of course, the next thing is going to be, well, let's get rid of cash, because cash is king. We're all trying two things. Guys, talking about like little boot sales, little farmers markets, any little places like that, they take cash. So if you suddenly take the cash away, again, we lose the freedom where we buy stuff, and at the same time, we lose freedom what we will buy, because there's no doubt, like I said earlier, that there be controls of what we can or cannot buy. It is, of course, as a speculation, but it doesn't really take a lot to put two and two together, knowing the Agenda 2030 and beyond, that this is exactly where this is heading. So I know there is still a glimmer of hope that it's not going to get past the parliament, because, you know, Tony Blair tried, didn't happen, but because the whole idea of what they are trying to tell people, this is for the best of our country, because it's going to stop a lot of immigration, and everybody or majority of people that think obviously it's a bad idea are going to be voting for that. But maybe sometimes people won't actually understand what's actually behind that. That immigration, the idea of what they're saying, stopping immigration with the digital ID, it's just not gonna happen. This is not why this digital ID is being introduced. It's a massive, massive agenda behind that that's going to be literally controlling every single thing that we do everywhere that we go, and it's only going to get worse. So anyway, guys, please excuse the rant, but please, yes, comment down below your thoughts. See whether it's going to be. Do you think it's going to be happening or not? Fingers crossed it's not, but let's see what happens, and of course, I'm going to be keeping you posted. So anyway, guys, well, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.